There is three simple words. Three simple yet very complex words that we have in the back of our minds that we repeat every single day from our waking hour to when we go to bed at night. And these three simple words are we are free. Three simple words, and you may think a simple concept. You may think that these words are true all the time. And in fact, that's why it happens. Why this happens with the phrase repeating day by day in our heads. But the thing is that are we really free? Do we even know what freedom is? Do we determine what freedom is because of our government letting us to live our lives as freely and fully as we can be? Or do we suspect that freedom is something else? Freedom of speech, freedom of thinking the way that you want to think, or freedom of buying that new television set, the LCD, LED, plasma, whatever TV screen with 3D capabilities. We think that's freedom? Do we? Well, honestly, day by day, day in, day out, what happens? We get up, we go to work or school, we do our daily routine. Sometimes we're able to have some entertainment. Sometimes it's either reading a book, watching television, going on Reddit, going out with your friends, and having a drink at the bar. But is this really what we want to do with the rest of our lives? Is this freedom? I think not. When you really look at your entire life and you figure out that you only have less than 100 years to live, usually, then you will understand why people get so damn cranky when they're in their 60s or in their 70s. Because they've been doing the same goddamn thing for 60 or 70 goddamn years of their life. And they're tired of it. They're sick and they want to be done with. But the thing is that how do we get out of this prison that we have made for ourselves? We made a prison where we think we're free, but we're really not free. But do we actually have the right to think for ourselves? Think our own thoughts, then feel our own feelings, or is it all manipulated by some outer source? I may sound like one of those crazy people on the street, but really, if you come to think of it and you look at what's going on, you look at the world around you, you look at certain things that you might do for entertainment. You watch the news or something else like that, they will tell you certain news stories that they want to tell you. All the rest of the news stories that will hurt either the government or the corporations that are overpowering you by governing you in one way or the other, either by libertarian government or a democratic government or a republican government or a democratic republic or a democratic socialist government. It doesn't matter what type of government it is. That government doesn't want to be viewed upon by the public in a bad light because they want one thing, and this one thing is what they already have, and this is power. See, power motivates people, not just the corrupt, but everyone. Everyone deep down inside wants to have that power, so they'll be able to do what they want. And deep down inside, we are all animals. So we will want to become the alpha male of whatever clan that we rule. Whether it be in our family, whether it be in our society, whether it be in our country or our nation. Like our government owns the nation in the first place. Once you have that power, you will do everything in your duty to uphold that power and strangle everyone else from getting that power away from you. Seen it in history several times before. Stalin took over Russia after Lenin's death, and it was supposed to be a communist government. Communism is a great example of how people strive for power and will not let go. Lenin was trying to make his socialist state into a stateless communist state where everyone of the proletariat had equal opportunity and economic justice, though he let the power get to his head. 7 years went by, the economy was collapsing until Stalin came by and he took the power over. He had Trotsky killed because Trotsky wanted to take over the power instead. And then people went against Stalin. These people were the Trotskyists, and these people were other people that were under his rule that just did not agree with him. And therefore, those people died because Stalin has created the second world's worst genocide next to Mao Zedong's Chinese Cultural Revolution. So, what do we do? What do we do about this media that's coming into our heads? We let it come into our heads and we make it so the government can tell us what is important to us in the news and what is not important to us. We have somebody that gets killed, that's important to us. We have someone that is going against the government, but they are just hippies. That goes into our head, and we automatically start thinking that. We make assumptions depending on the culture that surrounds us, no matter what. And the people that control the culture have the most power in the culture. And these people up on top will enslave the world. Now, that is on a grandiose scale of why we as a people are not free. We do not have the ability to think for ourselves. We will think what is important as relation to who is on top. Then the media gets in and they have their entertainment business. A very, very saddening display of what is going on in the entertainment business today in the United States is what people watch and what people really care about. Do they care about grandiose things like the universe and how we came to be, or educational programs to further broaden our mind, or maybe even classical music that will make us think about the beauty of Mozart or Bach or Beethoven or anything else like that? No. We have this crap like Jersey Shore on the television that placates our most disgusting human aspects of our mind and will dumb us down to the point where we are incapable of actually enjoying something that is intellectually stimulating. This is where we fall as a human species. We are very easily manipulated, and we will think we are free when we are indeed not free at all. That goes to my second point of my rant. The second point is for the minor scale that creates a huge problem for the entire world. Who has the power besides the government? It is the corporations that have all the money that are able to do whatever they want to do with that money. Who is above the corporations? It's the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has the right to regulate how much money gets printed and how much money does not get printed. This will easily have the ability and the capability to determine how much a dollar is worth in the world. And since the entire world uses US currency to back up its currency, it basically has a monopoly on the whole entire world's economic system. Then the banks come. The banks are the second major problem. There are like little mini Federal Reserves all across the United States. You put money in a bank, the bank will hold it, and the bank will say, I'm going to do with this what I want to do with this. If, for say, the bank forecloses your house because they want to take your house and say, well, you weren't paying enough money, so we're going to make your rates higher, even though you can't pay for it, then these people are going to try to be paying out of their asses, and they won't be able to do it because money doesn't grow in their ass. And this comes a problem where the banks have too much power over people's lives. And then the banks will be able to go over to the government, take their money that they stole from the people that put money into their banking systems, and they will give it to the politicians to make the politicians that were elected by us to do their own bidding. This, of course, is the fatal flaw of the capitalist system. This is no longer capitalism, because capitalism and the classical liberal sense of free market economy and the invisible hand is one greedy son of a bitch. The invisible hand will, in fact, do a natural selection of whoever is doing the best work and put them on top, while all the other companies and stuff that are just starting out or don't have as many customers because everybody on the top can make their prices cheaper, they will get crushed and they won't have a chance to grow. So, you have the huge corporations that pay almost no taxes because they pay the government in order to pay less taxes or pay no taxes at all, and you have the banks that are above them that only inhibit the people on the top to make even more money because the other people that are making less money and giving their money to the banks are going to take their money, so the money that the people have, they're going to have to go to a cheaper business, so they're going to go to the bigger businesses, and then it's a cycle, and then eventually it goes off to the top. The Federal Reserve will regulate the money in a way where the cheaper, the more money there is, and everything else like that, the cheaper the money is worth. And it goes down, and it goes up, and it keeps on going in a cycle. This is our world. We are not free. We are not free on a macro scale and on a grandiose scale, and we are certainly not free when it comes to our government and our corporatocracy or plutocracy or whatever you may want to call it. Welcome to the world.